Hello and welcome to The Sensible Witch. I'm Julie and this is a channel where we talk about common sense witchcraft. Today I would like to talk about the Book of Shadows and Grimoires, what they are and what the difference is between the two. We can start off with a few quick definitions. So the official definition of a Book of Shadows is a book containing religious text and instructions for magical rituals. AI and Google mention a Book of Shadows is a personal journal used by practitioners of witchcraft to record rituals, spells, herbal correspondences, dreams, and spiritual experiences. Whereas a grimoire, the official definition, also known as a book of spells, magic book, or spell book, is a textbook of magic, typically including instructions on how to create magical objects like talismans and amulets, how to perform magical spells, charms, and divination, and how to summon or invoke supernatural entities such as angels, spirits, deities, and demons. So we'll start off with my Book of Shadows. So this is my Book of Shadows. It's just a blank notebook that I brought that's kind of has a magical look to it. There's so many books online you can find, but you just need a notebook. You can use a standard like a notebook like this, or you can have it online. You can take all your notes online if you wish. I like to have mine in written form for a couple of reasons. One, I'm old, and I think that the handwritten stuff has a little bit more meaning than something on the computer. But again, that's just my personal thoughts, my personal preference. You can do whatever you like. There are really no rules. But I do keep my Book of Shadows and my grimoire separate. Some people have them all in the same book, which is fine. Also, it's just easier for me if I'm looking for a particular spell to go through my grimoire to find that. So my Book of Shadows, I started it out, and it kind of goes through when I started my magic journey, which wasn't all that long ago, a handful of years. I know some people have been practicing for decades. I'm not those people, but that's okay. So in the beginning, I kind of talked about my journey and how I got started and how I found my goddess to work with. And then I have notes from books that I've read, so lots of notes and information that I just kind of gather along from watching YouTube channels, watching different creators, and say, oh, I want to add that to my BOS. So I do that. Kind of flip through here. I did put my very first spell in here as a very, very simple protection spell. I have a blessing from my Book of Shadows, which I found in another book. Again, I read a lot, so this is mostly notes from books that I've taken. I have some chants. I have some blessings in here. Some spells that I haven't done, but I kind of recorded, so I would have them. I also have notes from where I go to different classes, except for my magic class. I'll show you that Book of Shadows in a minute. I'm going to have to go get it. But that's an entirely separate Book of Shadows. So like I said, notes from classes that I've taken. And here I did get lazy because I had written these just in a regular notebook when I was at the seminar or the conference, and I just cut them out and pasted them in here because I didn't feel like writing again. I also have lots of stickers. There's so many beautiful magical stickers, and at some point I'm like, I have to find a place to use all these stickers. So I stuck stickers all over my book. So it makes it a little bit prettier. And then I have some tarot spreads in here. I have friends who have written poetry that I have recorded in here. This is a poem that's called "'Twas the Night Before Solstice." It was written by a friend of mine by the name of Dave Gaddy. He's an amazing magical practitioner. He goes by Witch. He spells it differently. He spells it Wytch, I think. So that is in there as well. And again, more stickers. As I read more and kind of get lazy, I tend to put little tabs in the books instead of recording it all in here, especially if it's like a whole paragraph I want to save. I'll just put a little tab in the book. But if I have little blurbs of stuff, I'll write them down in here. So let me grab my BOS that I created after my witchcraft class. So I joined a magical community, I think about 2 years ago, and I took a class which is titled Living Witchcraft. 2024, and had so many notes from that class. So I created this special Book of Shadows just for this class. And I had all my class notes that I printed out on this witchy looking magical paper. Makes my right brain very happy. So I have all the notes from that class. I have the slides from that class that I printed out. And then additional stuff. So I took, there was an intro to tarot in that class. But I did take an additional tarot class, so all those notes are in here. Although I have my own tarot notes on the computer, and then I print them out. They're like 20 pages long, and my instructor's like, Julie, this isn't a cheat sheet. This is a book. But lots of tarot information. So, but this is a separate BOS that I created just for the things that I learned from that community. So, and that can always add to that. And this is another option. You know, if you want a 3-ring binder, you can type stuff up on the computer like I did, and then print it out and put it in here. If you do want something printed, and I like this, I can flip through it easily. And then when I'm in class, I can be looking through my notes on that. So those are my 2 books of shadows. And my grimoire, I got this beautiful spellwork planner. This is from Amy of Magical Crafting. I can see Jack behind me. Trying to catch bugs through the window. It's very important. So this is a spellwork planner, and it's available on Amazon. It's a print-on-demand product, so you order it and it prints out for you. But she has a lot of witchy planners, some really great stuff. She does tarot planners. I think she has shadow work book and some other workbooks. She also has calendar planners, so you can plan out your week, your month, your days, all that. So when I do a spell, I will record it in this book, and I'll show you a close-up of this book so you can kind of see what's in here. But it has 2 pages per spell, so there's a lot here. There's a lot of room to record so many things. You've got your spell name, the date, the day of the week, the time, the moon phase, the moon sign, the sun sign, your intention and will, the tools that you use, the materials and components of your spells, the correspondences, deities, spirits, or elements involved, and offerings given. And then there's a place to write out or draw out your altar setup if you wish, instructions and incantations, and then results and reflections. So it's important to keep a grimoire of your spells for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you do a spell and then you later need to reverse that spell or change that spell, you can go back and remember everything that's in the spell and how you did it. And it's also important to keep a record of all your magic, is for your knowledge, and then to go back if a spell, let's say a spell did not work, you can go back to your grimoire and see, okay, what maybe did I do wrong? How do I need to adjust this spell and try it again so that it may work a little bit better? And it's also important to look back at the spells that were successful. Say, hey, what did I do right? What about this worked? And you can go through it and look at it that way. There was something else that I was going to say here, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. So you could also say, and I've said this myself too, and not written things down, I'll remember what I did. Y'all, you will not remember, especially if you're my age, you're not going to remember shit. It's best to write it down and to have it here and to remember what you did. So I also at times will have some extra pages on things. If I have a really long spell, I'll type it all out, print it out, and then I can take these papers and just kind of insert them in the spellwork planner, and have the grimoire stuff all together. Sometimes too you get pages from different places, like Witch Casket often sends out pages, and I have books of pages or just loose pages of stuff. I don't necessarily like them falling out when I'm flipping through the book, but I do like to have a place where I can put them. Again, you can punch holes in them and have that 3-ring binder. That works as well. So I will link Amy's Spellwork Planner if you're interested in getting that. I don't get anything from this. It's just a recommendation that I have. This is an absolutely great resource. And like I said, check out her other planners as well. She's got planners for everything. She has tarot planners where you can draw a card of the day and write that card down, and then write down what your thoughts are, and then later at the end of the day you can go back and say, okay, this card was accurate for today, this card was not accurate for today, depending on what you discovered. So that is my Book of Shadows and Grimoire, or my Books of Shadows. So do you have a BOS, Book of Shadows? How do you keep it? Is your grimoire separate? Are they all together? How do you do that? I would love to hear about your practice. Please comment below. Also, please like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Those links will be in the description box as well. Also, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really helps my growing channel. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.